Hey guys. Part 16. This is what if Naruto took care of Sasuke who turned into a baby. Hit like and subscribe if you like this one, and also please check the author in the description. Let's start. Chapter 39. Flames of Hatred. Sasuke's red eyes were fixed on his father's face, almost as if he couldn't believe he was right there. In a second, Sasuke was sure he was going to die. On the other, he was safe in Naruto's arms. Akane stared at Naruto, frowning, obviously aggravated at being interrupted. "So you found me, huh?" she said with a grin. "I've been wondering how long it would take until you confronted me." Sasuke looked at Akane and then Naruto, not knowing what was going on. His father continued to hold him tightly, but his blue eyes, normally bright and gentle, were hard and fixed on the woman covered in blood in front of them. He had never seen him staring at someone like that before. Sasuke also didn't understand why Naruto had a Hittite on his forehead. The only ones who had one were shinobi. What was happening? "Two-chan?" Sasuke asked again. Naruto looked at him, and his gaze softened slightly. "Are you hurt, Sasuke?" Naruto asked. Sasuke shook his head. "No. But she killed Kaido-san," Sasuke said, clinging to Naruto. "She was the one who set fire to the village, and she killed Shinya too." Naruto looked back at Akane. "All the other deaths over the year. Saya-san's family, was it you?" the blonde asked with a firm but calm voice. Sasuke didn't understand how his dad could be so calm. They had to run away, or Akane would kill them both. "Obviously," the woman replied, with a crazy grin twisting her once attractive face. "I thought to cause them pain first, before moving to the final event. They don't know what it is, what anguish is to lose everything you love most at the hands of someone. But now they know. And this is just the beginning. When I kill everyone they love, they will finally understand my hatred." Naruto blinked, and something close to recognition appeared in his eyes. "So that's what this is about," the blonde said. "Revenge." Sasuke's small hands clung to Naruto's sweater tighter. Akane's hatred was so strong that even he could feel it like an icy hand on his spine. It was something horrible, dark and cold, and strangely familiar. Sasuke felt scared. It was like being pulled into a nightmare where he knew he had been before and never wanted to go back. "Daddy," the boy gasped out, "let's go." Naruto grabbed him harder. "What happened to you, Akane?" Naruto asked. "Why do you hate this village so much?" "HMPF. As if someone like you could understand," Akane snorted with contempt. "Okay then, since you will be dead after this, I think you should know why." One building collapsed completely behind Akane, but she didn't even budge. Her smile disappeared, replaced by an expression of rage and pure hatred. She and Naruto continued to stare up, surrounded by sparks and smoke. "My real name is Tanaka Mizora," she said. "I was born and lived in this village with my parents. We were happy, very happy. My father was a good man, fair and understanding. My mother was the kindest person I ever knew. She never spoke ill of anyone. She always believed the best about people." Naruto noticed that the last sentence was spoken with huge bitterness. "When I was 10, I came home from school and called my parents, but no one answered. I looked for them everywhere. I found my father first, lying in a pool of his own blood on the kitchen floor," Akane revealed, with a calm voice but filled with hatred and pain. "My mother was in their bedroom, lying in bed, with her eyes wide open and with a look of fear on her face. I later learned that she had been strangled. People were all very kind to me, the village's elders, the police, the man who everyone idolized, the mayor, came to me personally. He swore to me that it would be okay." Suddenly, Akane laughed. It was a sad, angry and mad laugh that made Sasuke's hair stand up. Naruto, however, remained impassive. "I had to live alone in the house where my parents were murdered," Akane continued. "I never found out who killed them or why. I begged them to not stop looking, but everyone told me it was useless. I should forget and get on with my life. Forget. As if my parents' death was the commonest thing in the world. Someone had killed them." taken them away from me and I had to forget? Never. I would never forget. Still, 1 year went by and no one found anything. Then another year and they still didn't have any clues. They stopped looking, and I couldn't do anything. When I was 15, I thought I was already used to the idea and could move on. I was in love with the mayor's son, Nakano Hideo. He was cheerful and nice. He understood me and supported me. With him and his siblings I didn't feel alone anymore. But everything changed when his parents died. Sasuke was shaking, he just wanted his father to flee away from her. But Naruto kept quiet and listened to the Akane's story with all his attention. What happened? Naruto asked. Akane grimaced. Hideo found his father's diary, the woman said. Her eyes sparkled almost as much as the fire around them. One day, Hideo asked me to go meet him. He wanted to tell me the truth. He told me he had found his father's diary in a safe and that he had written about my mother for years. He was obsessed with her. He wanted her and believed she belonged to him, but my mother rejected him and chose my father. It was him who had killed my parents, the great Lord Nakano, mayor, one of the founders of the village. He killed my mother so that she could not be anyone else. He killed my father because he had stolen her from him. The police and other elders knew, but they wanted to cover everything up to avoid a scandal. They protected a murderer and lied to me. The whole time. Naruto continued to stare at Akane. Hideo told you everything? The blonde asked. What did you do then? I was shocked and angry, Akane shouted, completely wild. The son of a bitch who killed my parents was dead. I had no right to anything. Not even my revenge. Worse. I had loved the murderer's son. I felt filthy. I fled from Hideo. I couldn't even look at him. All I could think was that I could never make my parents' killer pay for what he did. I wanted to kill him with my bare hands' blood. I needed his blood. It was then that I realized his blood was still living within Hideo and his cursed siblings. That night I went to the Nakano mansion. Hideo opened the door for me and let me come inside. He said how sorry he was, that he would try to make everything okay. It was then that I cut his neck with my mother's kitchen knife. I just stood there, seeing him bleed out, and I felt happy. I felt that my parents were finally being avenged. After he died, I took care of the siblings. They all had his blood, the blood of the man who had killed my family. Sasuke was horrified by this horrible story. When he looked at Akane, he saw only hatred. It was hatred so deep and cold that Sasuke felt freezing inside. The worst was that feeling was too familiar. He already felt like this before, when he was caught in that dream with the snake man and the monster. He remembered the monster that had been inside him. He could never forget. When he looked at Akane, it was as if Sasuke was seeing him again. Hate. Revenge. Darkness. After killing them all, I waited inside the house, Akane continued. It was done. I had finally avenged my parents, but something wasn't right. I felt empty. It was then that I realized that my revenge wasn't complete. The other elders. They knew who had killed my parents the whole time, but had chosen to protect a murderer rather than giving them justice. They were as guilty as the Nakano. But I was still too weak, I couldn't kill them all. I needed power. So I fled and I found someone who taught me ninjutsu. I trained for 10 years. I went back to the village 5 years ago under the name of Himura Akane. The more spent here, the more I despised them all. Not just the elders, but also the villagers, who continued their miserable little lives without knowing anything. No one cared about what happened to my family. They just kept saying that the Nakano massacre had been a tragedy. What do they know? They know nothing about pain, about hate. Nothing. But now they will never forget. Akane jumped towards them. Sasuke saw a line of light extending from her kunai. Naruto pulled Sasuke out of her reach and the raven saw helplessly as the kunai pierced his dad's chest. Sasuke's eyes widened in horror and tears. Teiyu-chan! The boy cried. It couldn't be, he died. Daddy had died. Akane smiled victoriously. After all, you were not so tough, she said with a smirk. Naruto's body relaxed, and exploded in smoke. What? Akane shouted. Sasuke also blinked, not understanding what had happened. Kagebunshin, Akane murmured, looking around. Then a blue light appeared in the sky. Both Sasuke and Akane gasped. 2 Narutos appeared through the smoke, holding a huge sphere of chakra in his hands. Otama Rasengan. Akane could move away, but the blast threw her against the wall. One of Naruto's clones vanished in a cloud of smoke, and the blonde stared at his opponent in the middle of the huge hole he had made with his jutsu. Sasuke was stunned. The first thing he thought was that his father was alive. He hadn't been killed by Akane. His relief was mixed with confusion. Kagebunshin, this is a ninja technique. How could Tuchan do it? And that blue ball? What was that? The boy thought. Akane summoned chakra to empower her kunai and attacked Naruto. The blonde moved away from the attacks and jumped to one of the roofs. When Akane followed, Naruto took the chance and kicked her in the stomach. The woman was thrown to the ground and her kunai fell from her hands. TSK. She snorted, spitting blood onto the floor. Damn! Akane made several hand seals. Doton Sinya! She cried. Several arrows came from the earth and were fired at Naruto. The blonde made a clone again and defended himself with a Rasengan, which destroyed most of the arrows and brought down the mayor's house. Akane fled the falling building, while Naruto grabbed Sasuke and jumped from roof to roof until they were away from the burning village. Sasuke looked down and looked at his dad's feet, where a bright light made him cling firmly to a roof and increased his jump. With amazement, Sasuke realized that it was chakra. Naruto landed Sasuke on the highest point of the village, almost at the top of the mountain, near one of the many waterfalls, which tourists often used as a lookout to see the whole village and the valley. When the raven was already on the ground, he looked at Naruto with wide and confused eyes. His Sharingan was still activated. You're safe here, Naruto said, clutching his Hittite, which was getting looser. Sasuke continued to stare at him. Where are you going? The boy asked. I'm going fight Akane, Naruto said. I want you to stay here. Before Sasuke could answer back, Naruto jumped to the cliff. Sasuke ran to the guardrail and watched as his father jumped from roof to roof, with an incredible agility and speed. Sasuke had never seen anything like it, not even in books or movies. But one thing he was absolutely sure. Naruto, his dad, was a ninja. Akane wasted no time and attacked Naruto with her Doton again. When the blonde moved from the attacks, the young woman attacked him with a chakra blade, which she increased the range of several meters. After Naruto turned aside from the blade and tried to attack Akane with taijutsu, he realized that she was too quick and agile to fight close. If he wanted to win, he would have changed his approach. Tajukage Bunshin no Jutsu. Within seconds there were hundreds of clones of Naruto, surrounding Akane from all directions. The kunoichi gritted her teeth with rage and attacked the clones. You think you can hide from me like this? Akane growled, destroying several clones with her blade. Do not underestimate me. I'll find you. Even if I have to destroy your clones one by one. Akane sensed a presence and looked behind her just in time to see a Rasengan about to crash against her. Swiftly, the kunoichi bent down and the Rasengan blew up the house at her back. Taking this opening, Akane pierced Naruto with her chakra blade. To her frustration, this was also a Naruto clone. You bastard! Akane shouted. Rasengan! When Akane looked up, it was too late. Naruto's Rasengan had already hit her in the back, and the kunoichi screamed in pain as she sank into the crater created by the spiraling sphere of chakra. Naruto stepped back and looked at the crater. Akane was lying with a huge wound in her back. Suddenly, she coughed blood and jumped out of the crater. She survived my Rasengan? Naruto thought, frowning. She's tougher than I thought. However, Akane looked at him, gasping and blood flowing from her mouth and nose. Her eyes were filled with more hatred and rage than ever, like a rabid animal. Kono Yero, she spat. It's not over. It hasn't even started yet. Akane touched her bloodied lip and put her hand on the floor. Kuchios no Jutsu, she cried. With a cloud of white smoke, emerged some kind of black wolf with 3 heads. The animal was huge, with yellow eyes, snarling with rage, as the kunoichi who had summoned him. The latter was on top of the beast, looking at Naruto with a cruel grin of triumph. "Try to get away from this," she cried. The 3-headed wolf howled and threw red flames against Naruto and his clones. The area where they were quickly turned into a flaming crater. Akane sighed and coughed more blood. She was injured but had won. Uzumaki Naruto was not as strong as the stories said it. Her hate was stronger than that. The sound of an explosion made the kunoichi look up. To her amazement, a huge red frog came out of the smoke and threw himself against the 3-headed wolf. Akane staggered and almost fell down the animal. "What? It can't be!" she cried. Then she saw him, in the head of the giant toad. Naruto not only had escaped the flames, but also seemed completely unharmed. Even weirder, his body was shining and flickering, like he was on fire. "You haven't summoned me in 6 years, Kid Gamabunta grunted, holding the 3 mouths of the wolf with his sword. "When you finally decide to call me, you send me to the center of hell? Frogs don't like the heat." On top of Gamabunta's head, Naruto laughed. "Sorry, Gama Oyaban, but really needed some help here." It doesn't matter," the big frog replied. "And who is this enemy? A woman?" Naruto frowned. "Don't underestimate her," Oyaban Naruto said. In the Kyuubi chakra mode, the blonde could feel the woman's hatred better than ever. It was dark, deep and very strong. Like Sasuke's had been. "I never underestimate a woman. It is true what they say. Hell has no fury like a woman's wrath." Gamabunta moved away from the wolf and struck him with his sword in one of the legs. The animal yelped in pain and retreated. "You need to cool down," Gamabunta said. "Teppadama!" The water in the form of a cannonball hit the wolf and threw it away from the village. Trees and rocks were destroyed with their passing and the earth trembled. "Oyaban, you can do something about the fires?" Naruto asked. "HMPF. Too easy," the frog replied, throwing 2 bullets of water which collided against each other, creating a heavy rain that erased most of the fires. "Great! Thank you, Oyaban," Naruto said. "Now, we end this." Gamabunta jumped towards the 3-headed wolf and Akane. The kunoichi had managed to grab onto the beast and stared at Naruto with blind rage. Naruto used the Kyuubi chakra to create several arms and prepared his final attack. The night sky lit up. Raisin Shuriken. A huge sphere of chakra crashed into Akane and the wolf, creating a huge ball of light and winds so strong that the sky became cloudless. Sasuke continued to watch the battle between Naruto and Akane in both anxiety and bewilderment. His eyes captured every detail, and the boy almost felt his heart stop when Akane invoked the giant wolf and threw flames against his father. When Gamabunta appeared out of nowhere and attacked the wolf, Sasuke couldn't believe it. He had met Gamabunta in Myaboku. He was Gamakishi and Gamatatsu's dad. Sasuke had always seen him as a giant frog who liked to sleep and drink sake while his kids played with him. Now, that same frog was fighting a colossal battle against a huge 3-headed giant wolf with Naruto on top of his head. Naruto had become different. It was as if his body was light itself. Sasuke couldn't explain it, but he felt the enormous power that emanated from his dad's body. That man, was it really Naruto? That powerful man was really his smiling and silly daddy. Several people came up to Sasuke and also poured over the fence, watching the amazing battle ahead of them. "Incredible!" one man exclaimed. "He'll said another. "I didn't expect less from Naruto-sama. He is truly amazing. No wonder he was the hero of the last Shinobi War." Sasuke blinked. "Shinobi War? Hero? We don't have to worry anymore. We're saved. With Naruto-sama here, one of the most powerful shinobi in the world, we have nothing to fear." Sasuke continued to watch the amazing battle which took place in front of him. His Sharingan was fixed at Naruto, who had just launched a huge sphere of light against Akane and her giant wolf. Sasuke had never seen his father like that. He seemed so strong, fearless, and amazing. It was the most amazing thing he had ever seen. "Tu-chan, you are," the raven murmured. But a strong dizziness prevented him from saying anything else. Everything became blurred and he realized he had dropped the metal fence. Feeling exhausted, Sasuke fell backwards and fainted before reaching the ground. Still sitting on top of Gamabunta, Naruto looked at the huge crater that he had created. Akane's chakra had disappeared completely, as the wolf's. All that was left were rocks in the hole. Soon after, the many rivers that came down the mountain started filling the crater with water. Soon, that place would be a lake. "I think you disintegrated her," Gaki Gamabunta said. Naruto tried to felt Akane again, but couldn't. She was gone. Sighing, the blonde Jinchuriki was about to end the Kyuubi chakra mode, when they felt him. Sasuke's small chakra reserves were depleted. "No." Naruto groaned, running and jumping as fast as he could, until he reached with the small crowd that was surrounding the boy lying on the ground. Seeing Naruto, they moved to let him pass. Naruto ended his Kyuubi chakra mode and knelt down next to Sasuke, looking for his pulse. The little boy was alive but very weak. His face was very pale and he breathed slowly. Sasuke had awakened the Sharingan, and probably had been with it active during the whole battle. Not wanting to waste time, Naruto summoned a little frog and ordered him to call Tsunade immediately. An hour later, Tsunade left Sasuke's room. Fortunately, their house hadn't been destroyed by the fires because they lived in the village's outskirts. Naruto was sitting in a chair in the kitchen, waiting for the Hokage. "Well?" Naruto asked, worried. "He'll be all right?" "He'll be asleep for a few days," Tsunade said, still sleepy from having been pushed out of bed in the middle of the night and brought to a ruined village by a very hysterical Naruto. "He used up almost all the chakra he had, so he will need some days to recover. But he'll be fine. I also put some bandages on the wounds in his arms and legs. Nothing too serious, just a few small scratches." Relieved, Naruto sat back in his chair, with a trembling hand over his chest. "Good," the blonde sighed. "Thanks, Bachan." Tsunade folded her arms over her generous chest. "So, he awakened the Sharingan," the Godame commented. "It's an early age, not even Itachi awakened it so early on." Naruto looked at Tsunade with tired eyes, but attentive. "Is that bad?" "Not necessarily. The Sharingan uses a lot of chakra and children don't have large reserves of it. You'll have to make sure that he will not activate it the whole time," Tsunade said with a serious gaze. "After all this, I think the time has come. Don't you think so, Naruto?" The blonde nodded. He knew perfectly well what that Tsunade was talking about. Sasuke finally had seen Naruto act like a ninja. He was an intelligent and perceptive child. He could easily put two and two together. It was time to get Sasuke back into the shinobi world. Chapter 40. Time to talk. At last I understand. I am an avenger. It was so hot. Why was it so hot? Slowly, Sasuke moved through the streets, watching the burning houses around him. Apart from the noise of burning wood, he could hear desperate cries, though he couldn't see the people who were screaming. The heat was unbearable. Sasuke was having trouble breathing. There was red all around, even the sky was red like blood. In the village's center there was someone, right in the midst of the fires. But this person didn't seem concerned. Sasuke could hear the person's laughter, that empty and sad laugh. "With the path I walk on, I must acquire power at any price, even it means become consumed by evil." Akane! She was the one who was doing this. She was going to kill everyone because her parents had been killed. Revenge is everything to me. If I can carry out my revenge, it's no concern of mine what happens to me, or to this world. Revenge. Not knowing why, Sasuke continued to walk in her direction, despite all his instincts ordered him to flee. But the raven continued to walk towards her, as if he was somebody else. "It's so hot. I want to leave, but I can't. Why can't I go away? I want to leave." When Sasuke came up to Akane and the smoke from the fires cleared, the raven-haired boy realized that it wasn't her after all. Although his face was hidden by shadows, Sasuke saw that the person who was laughing was a boy. "If anyone else tries to ridicule the way I live, I'll slaughter everyone they ever cared about." and then maybe they'll understand what it's like to taste a little of my hatred. Suddenly, the fires became black and the heat seemed to increase even more. The boy's eyes shone from the shadows, red and full of hatred. Then the bones came. Giant bones surrounded the boy, covered by a purple and frightening aura. The bones of a giant skeleton formed over the boy, and suddenly, Sasuke wasn't watching him from afar anymore, he was inside it. Sasuke. The skeleton gained muscles and continued to change until it became a huge purple monster. Sasuke! The purple monster roared as the boy with bright eyes laughed, and everything around them was destroyed until only ashes were left. Yet the boy, Sasuke, was still laughing. Sasuke! The raven's eyes burst open, feeling someone grab him by the shoulders. Sasuke took a deep breath and coughed violently. His whole body hurt, his mouth was dry, and he was completely drenched in sweat. But the worst was the heat. He was so hot. It was like being inside a burning house. Burning houses. Everything is on fire, Sasuke yelled, trying to get rid of the arms that were holding him. The village is on fire. Akane! Shh. It's okay, Sasuke. It's over now. Sasuke turned his head to his left and saw someone very hazy. As his sight got better, he realized it was a blond man who was holding him, with one arm behind his back and pushing Sasuke's sweaty head against his chest. As he felt his heart beat through the orange shirt, Sasuke stopped struggling. Daddy? Yeah, it's me, Naruto said with a reassuring smile. Relaxing, Sasuke's breathing calmed down. Naruto landed the child in bed again and wiped the sweat from his face with a wet and cold cloth. How you feeling, son? The blonde asked, moving Sasuke's bangs away from his wet forehead. Tired, it hurts. I'm hot, Sasuke replied, his tired eyes fixed on his daddy's familiar and soothing face. I'm thirsty. Naruto nodded and filled a glass of water with a bottle that was on top of the nightstand. The blonde slowly lifted the child's head and helped Sasuke drink the fresh water, being careful not to let him choke when the raven began to drink too quickly. Easy, Naruto said. It's okay. You can drink as much as you want. Sasuke nodded and drank it to the last drop, laying his heavy head once more in his pillow. Although he didn't feel thirsty anymore, he still felt very bad. His eyes were red and puffy, with black circles of fatigue around them. As a few drops of sweat rolled down his cheek, Naruto quickly cleaned them. Naruto hadn't left the house for 4 days and virtually camped in Sasuke's room, surrounded by basins of fresh water, clean cloths and medicines. Some of his clones had gone to help the villagers carry the wounded from the debris and build temporary shelters until they were ready to start rebuilding the village. A new mayor had been appointed and the villagers had already begun the arduous task of clearing the debris from their homes, burying their dead and heal the wounded. They all treated Naruto as a hero and understood perfectly that he was concerned with treating his sick child. Still, Naruto tried to help whenever he could. Also, he told the new mayor the truth about Akane, or Mizora. The man had been shocked and horrified by her story and regretted that so many people had to die because the elders had been unable to do what was right 20 years ago. Akane had fulfilled one of her goals. All the elders had died that night. Naruto advised the new mayor to tell the villagers the truth. They had the right to know why this tragedy had happened. And also, that was the least they owed Mizora. The truth. Naruto didn't know whether the mayor would disclose this information, but he couldn't do anything else. After making sure everything was calm again, Naruto devoted all his energies to Sasuke's health. Tsunade came back twice to look at Sasuke and said that the raven was recovering slowly but steadily. Naruto didn't feel so sure. Sasuke was pale as the sheets where he slept. He had lost weight for not eating and he had a very high fever the night before. The Godain reassured him and told him that this was normal. They were only the effects of chakra exhaustion. However, Naruto wasn't at all satisfied with that explanation. Sasuke was in pain. Naruto wouldn't just stay there and let his child suffer. No freaking way. When Sasuke started to moan during his sleep, with his face writhing in pain, Naruto could take no more and had to wake him up. Papa? Sasuke asked with such a tired voice that Naruto felt really scared. Yes? I'm hot. Then I guess you need to cool off, then the blonde answered, trying to sound as calm and cheerful as he could. Naruto took the little boy in his arms, grabbed a pair of washed pajamas and took him to the bathroom. Sasuke looked so tired and apathetic that Naruto felt a pang in his heart. No battle and no opponent worried him more than the weakened child in front of him. Carefully Naruto took off his sweaty pajamas and threw it to the laundry basket, where already were 2 other set of pajamas and sheets. After giving Sasuke a bath and dress him in clean and fresh clothes, Sasuke had livened up a little and even asked Naruto to leave the bathroom for a while because he wanted to pee. After drying his spiky black hair, Naruto was going to take Sasuke back to his room, but the raven stopped him. No. Can I go to your bed? The boy asked, his face buried in Naruto's shoulder. Huh? Want to lie down on my bed? Sasuke nodded. Your bed is bigger, Sasuke replied, without lifting his face. Ah. Okay, Naruto replied, unable to not smile. If you want to rest on the big bed, it's all ours. In response, Sasuke squeezed Naruto harder. It wasn't hard to see that Sasuke wanted to be nurtured, even if the little raven was too proud to ask directly. It was strange. Just 2 years ago the boy would have no problem jumping to his lap and ask Naruto for a hug. As he grew, Sasuke had become less receptive to affection, although he still wanted it. For Naruto, this made him feel sad and happy at the same time. As any parent, he thought, the blonde missed the affectionate and innocent baby boy who cried just because Naruto was away. But on the other hand, Naruto knew that he would not be raising well Sasuke if he didn't become increasingly independent. Besides, Naruto couldn't help but be happy to see reflections of the Sasuke he had known before manifesting itself in the child. Sasuke was Sasuke, and always would be, regardless of the loss of memories. However, Naruto had to admit that he also felt immensely happy when I saw bits of himself in the raven. It made him feel closer to Sasuke. It made him feel truly his father. Truthfully, there were times when the blonde simply forgot about the Shiraha clan's jutsu. More than once, during conversations with other adults about Sasuke, he just forgot about the raven's adoption and spoke about him as if Naruto had conceived him like a normal child. Naruto had said things like when my son was born or my boy cried whole nights as a baby. He had even called him my Sasuke more than once, only recalling later what he had said. Whenever this happened, Naruto felt guilty because he felt that he was lying and being insulting to Sasuke's parents, his biological parents. But it was stronger than him, he couldn't help it. Naruto didn't know the extent of the influences of his blood, DNA and chakra in the raven's body. But the blonde was happy to have something of his inside Sasuke too. And now, it was time for his son to learn more about the world he had left behind. Naruto put the boy into bed and covered him with his blankets. Sasuke felt a bit better after having taken a bath. At least he wasn't all sweaty and sticky. His father's bed was big enough for them both to sleep on it, and Sasuke, though he wouldn't admit it, was slightly hopeful that his dad would let him sleep with him tonight. Sasuke didn't want to be alone. He didn't want to dream about the boy with bright red eyes again. When Daddy was asleep, he would hold him close and forget his bad dreams. The sound of his growling stomach made Sasuke blush in shame. Naruto just smiled, almost amused. "You're hungry, huh?" the blonde said. Sasuke nodded and blushed even more when his stomach rumbled again. "I'm gonna get you some food. I'll be right back." When Naruto left the room, Sasuke leaned against the pillow and closed his eyes. He couldn't remember ever having felt so tired. Was he sick? He had to be. He felt hot and chills at the same time, so he must had a fever. When he looked out the window, Sasuke saw the sun was high up, so it wasn't morning. How long was I sleeping? The raven thought to himself, while his eyes went to the bedside table to look at the clock. However, instead of focusing on the small alarm clock, Sasuke's attention was diverted to something black on top of the bedside table. Curious, Sasuke sat up and reached for the strange object, grabbing it with care and wonder. It was a metal plate attached to a long black cloth. In the center of the plate was a circular design. "What is this?" Sasuke asked, turning the object in both hands. It was then that the memories hit him like an electric shock. He remembered the fire, Akane killing Kaido-san, Akane trying to kill him, and Tuchan had come to save him. He fought against Akane. With a Hittite on his forehead, the same forehead protector that Sasuke was holding. The forehead protector of a shinobi. Naruto came in with a tray and a bowl of spaghetti with tomato sauce. Done! Naruto said cheerfully, blinking when he saw Sasuke with his Hittite in his hands. Sasuke's onyx eyes were fixed on Naruto, full of amazement and confusion. Tuchan, you're a ninja? Sasuke asked immediately. Naruto sighed and sat up in bed, placing the tray in front of Sasuke. Yes, the blonde finally said. Here we go! But how can you be a ninja? Sasuke asked, still unable to believe it. That was Naruto they were talking about. His daddy. Why didn't you tell me? Naruto shrugged. You never asked, the blonde said, knowing full well that this answer would not be enough for the Raven. I thought you helped people carry things and other stuff, Sasuke continued, trying to combine the image of his silly dad with the amazing ninja who he saw fight. It was almost impossible. Well, it's one of the things I do, said Naruto. A shinobi does all sorts of jobs, from weeding to protect people from thieves. It's not exactly like in the stories. Ninjas don't spend their entire lives in battles, although they fight in many. But you look. Huh? I look like what? You look wimpy. Naruto's face alternated between shock, disbelief, and finally, outrage. Hey! Team, don't call me that, Naruto said, giving a small but effective slap on Sasuke's head. I may be a lot of things, but I'm not wimpy. Oh. Sasuke rubbed his sore head. You didn't need to hit me. I just told the truth. You seem wimpy and silly. You don't look anything like the ninjas in the stories, Uzuratanki. Naruto pouted. Don't judge people by appearance, the blonde growled, still offended that Sasuke had thought that he was weak all along. Silly? Okay, maybe, but wimpy? As if. Sasuke looked at the forehead protector in his hands and touched the symbol in the center of the metal plate. This is really your Hittite? Sasuke asked. Naruto took the forehead protector and tied it around his head. Haha. I got it when I graduated from the Ninja Academy, the blonde said. Iruka-sensei gave it to me. Sasuke looked up. Iruka-sensei is a ninja too? Yes, he was my teacher at the academy in Konohagakure. Naruto pointed to the symbol on the metal plate. This is the symbol of our village. Sasuke looked at the circular symbol, attentive of its resemblance to a leaf. The young raven knew that there were hidden villages where the ninja lived and that each village had a symbol of their own. So was that the symbol of the hidden leaf village? Sasuke wanted to ask a lot more questions, but his stomach growled again. Naruto laughed and put the tray with food on top of his legs. You're really hungry, huh? Eat your noodles. Your belly looks like a trumpet symphony. No, it doesn't, the raven replied, trying to keep his dignity. But the hunger was stronger than pride and Sasuke quickly devoured the food. It was as if he didn't eat for ages. When he finished, he turned to his father and asked for more, that Naruto happily consented. When he had finished eating, Sasuke felt immediately better. He didn't feel so tired anymore, but still he lay down in his dad's comfy bed. Naruto left the room and took the dirty dishes. When he returned, he had a glass of orange juice and a pill for his fever. Sasuke took the pill and drank all his juice, without taking his onyx eyes from Naruto's Hittite. Tuchan? Why don't we live in the village? Sasuke asked, more curious about his father's ninja life. The raven wanted to know everything. It was like wanting to go into a magical world and discover that it existed in his home. Naruto winced a little at the question. He had imagined that Sasuke would want to know why he wasn't raised in Konoha, but the blonde had decided that he wouldn't reveal it to the raven yet. There were many things he couldn't understand or accept. Above all, Naruto didn't want Sasuke to suffer. Well, I made that decision after you were born, the blonde replied. Konoha had been destroyed by a very strong enemy and was still being rebuilt. The war was over not long ago, and I wanted a little peace. So I thought I'd better travel for a while before going back to the village. But you're a hero! The child cried, making Naruto blink. I heard the other villagers say that when you were fighting against Akane. They said you were the strongest ninja in the world. Naruto couldn't help blushing and scratched his neck. Hero? Well, I wasn't really a hero. Everybody fought in the war. They were all heroes, and I'm not the strongest ninja in the world. I mean, I am strong, but the best? I wish. There are so many other ninjas that I could turn me into pulp. Sasuke continued to stare at him with a mixture of disbelief and admiration. He had finally begun to believe that his gentle and silly papa, who he had always loved, was much more than that. Sasuke had seen a whole new side of Naruto, a strong, fearless, and amazing shinobi. The fact that Naruto wasn't bragging about it made Sasuke admire him even more. The Raven had been excited when he discovered that his two-san, Fugaku, and Itachi ni-san had been ninjas. But knowing that Naruto was a ninja was completely different. It was awesome. We're going back to Konoha now? Sasuke asked. Naruto shook his head. Not yet. Huh? But why? Sasuke asked, clearly disappointed. Well, if we return now, I'd have to spend the whole time on missions. And that's not what ninjas do? That's a lot cooler than carrying furniture and that other boring stuff. Yes, the missions are usually cool. But, Naruto looked at Sasuke in the eye. If I went back now, I would almost always be out on missions. I wouldn't be able to be with you. Sasuke blinked and looked at Naruto with a gaze of astonishment on his face. You want to be with me, instead of going on missions? The boy asked, feeling warm in his chest that had nothing to do with the fever. Of course. You're my boy, Naruto said with sincerity. I want to see my little boy get big and strong. That's why I'll start training you. I think you're ready for it. Sasuke's shock was immediately replaced by pure enthusiasm. Even though he felt exhausted, the boy jumped and grabbed Naruto's arms. Really? You're going to train me? He asked, with a huge smile on his face. Believe it, the blonde replied with a laugh. Iruka-sensei will have to help me. I was never very good at explaining things. Anyway, I already have some books and scrolls for you. Sasuke's eyes twinkled. Can I read them? Can we start training today? Sasuke winced when he felt his whole body ache. Naruto realized that, and made him lay in bed. Calm down, you're running a fever. You have plenty of time to study and train, you can wait a little longer. I warn you, being a ninja is very tough, so you must be 100% recovered for me to get to train with you, Naruto smirked. Don't even think I'll go easy on you just because you're my son. Sasuke continued to stare at his father, even more excited. I'm gonna train a lot. You'll teach me how to fight like you fought with Akane? That's my intention. The Raven could not believe it. He was going to train to become a ninja. He was gonna learn to do all those jutsus and be strong and amazing as his father. He was. The doubt came like a slap in the face. Sasuke wasn't like Naruto. Perhaps, no matter how much he trained, he would never become a great ninja like him, because they were too different. Because he was adopted. People almost never thought that Naruto was his father, because Sasuke didn't resemble him at all. In fact, they were so different that it saddened Sasuke. He wanted to feel connected to Naruto, and knowing he was so different only made him feel farthest away from him. If Sasuke didn't look like Naruto on the outside, perhaps there was no chance he could be strong like him. Because they were too different. Naruto blinked when he saw his son's smile slowly fading, replaced by a sad and worried look. What's the matter, Sasuke? The blonde asked. Are you feeling sick again? No. That's not it, the boy replied, looking away. So what's wrong? Naruto insisted, but the Raven didn't answer him. Sasuke. I don't like when you're unhappy, but I can't understand unless you tell me why. Don't shut me out. The last sentence was so sad that Sasuke's eyes widened and he stared at Naruto again. No! I don't want to shut you out, the Raven said, fearing that the gap he felt between him and his father increased yet further. I'm scared. The blonde was truly surprised. Scared? Are you scared about the training? I was half kidding, it's not that bad and. That's not it, Sasuke interrupted. What if can't do it? What if I suck even if I train very hard? Huh? What are you talking about? You won't know before you try. But I'm not like you, the raven cried, before the surprised face of Naruto. You're so strong, and I'm not like you. Naruto noticed that Sasuke looked at his lightly tanned hands before staring his own pale ones. Naruto was always surprised when he realized just how insecure Sasuke could be. It was such a contrast with the arrogant genius he knew. Had Sasuke always been like this, even in the academy? The Raven had always seemed so sure of himself and his abilities. Sasuke, being a good ninja doesn't depend on our parents' power. Of course that can help, but what really counts is the hard work, Naruto said quietly. I know amazing shinobi who are children of civilians, people who had to work hard, but they became super strong. You are strong and very talented. I saw how you train with the katana. Also, you don't have that problem. Your parents were both ninjas, your brother too. You'll do fine. Sasuke looked at the blonde and nodded slowly. I know, Sasuke said, struggling with his own complicated feelings. On the one hand, he knew his other parents and his Ni-san had been ninjas, so Sasuke also believed that he could become one. That wasn't what scared him. How could Naruto not realize that? So, what's wrong? Naruto asked. I want to be like you too, Sasuke said, frustrated. Huh? No one ever says I look like you, the Raven revealed. Everyone says we're nothing alike and I wanted, and I wish we were. It's not that I don't like to be like my Ni-san and Tu-san. I like it. But I also like to have something from you. For a few seconds, Naruto didn't know how to respond. He had already decided that it was still too early to talk to Sasuke about his Kekkai Genkai. How would he explain to a child who didn't even know the difference between Konoha and Kyumo about the Sharingan? Of course, Sasuke would be delighted to know that he had such a powerful genetic trait, but Naruto didn't want him to rely on his dojutsu so much as he did in his first life. Nor was it safe to speak of the Uchiha clan when he was so young. It was too dangerous to let people know that there was an Uchiha child still alive. Not only would they want to kidnap Sasuke to take his eyes, but they could find out the truth about the clan's last survivor. Naruto wasn't going to hide Sasuke his heritage. The Raven had every right to know who he was. But the blonde felt a little apprehensive. At the end of his first life, Sasuke wasn't only loyal to his clan, he had become obsessed with it. The Uchiha was all that the Raven saw before him, carrying the weight of his clan's hatred on his shoulders like a curse. So Naruto intended to tell to Sasuke the truth about his clan gradually. When he was a little older and more mature, Naruto would tell him the whole truth. Still, knowing that Sasuke wanted to have inherited something from Naruto, it made the blonde feel very happy. With an affectionate smile, Naruto lifted his hand and focused enough chakra in his palm until it became visible. The Raven opened his eyes in amazement and stared at the blue chakra carefully. Remember when I said that I had given you my blood when I adopted you? The blonde asked. Sasuke nodded slowly, looking up momentarily from the chakra. Well, I gave you this as well. Sasuke continued to stare at the blue force in front of him. This is chakra? The boy asked. Yeah, Naruto held out his hand with chakra to Sasuke. Carefully, the child stretched out his cupped hands and received the chakra, which flickered slightly between his and Naruto's fingers like a blue flame. It's warm, the Raven murmured. Yeah, and do you see how it is oscillating? This means that is resonating, Naruto said, staring at Sasuke through the bright chakra. It doesn't hurt you, because you and I have similar chakra. The chakra that I gave you is mixed with the chakra that you had inherited from your parents, but mine is there too, within you. Sasuke felt the warm energy in the palm of their hands. The chakra is really inside me? Yes. I still don't know what or how much you have inherited from me for sure, but it's there. So, you and I are alike? I am your second Tuchan, Naruto said cheerfully. For better or for worse, you also have a part of me inside you. Sasuke blushed and smiled. Even when the chakra vanished from their hands, the raven continued to feel its warmth. But more importantly was that he felt closer to his dad than ever. The next day, Sasuke had no fever and got out of bed to eat his meals in the kitchen. The raven said repeatedly that he was fine and could start training, but Naruto was unwavering on this issue. Sasuke could be better, but his bones and joints still ached. If the boy got tired when he went to the bathroom, how did he expect to stand a training day? But Sasuke was too excited to stay quiet in bed resting. After nagging Naruto for 2 hours, the blonde gave him a book on the basis of ninjutsu and other about the Shinobi World Society. Visibly excited, Sasuke took the books to Naruto's room and studied them in bed, absorbing all the information like a sponge. Almost 3 hours later, Sasuke left the room and went to Naruto in the living room. The boy had one of the books in his hand and climbed onto the sofa, without saying a word. The blonde grabbed a blanket and wrapped it around Sasuke, while the raven laid his head on his thigh, opened the book, and continued reading. "Daddy?" "Yes?" "Are you a Kage?" Naruto almost coughed. "Huh? What makes you think that?" the blonde asked. "You are super strong," Sasuke replied, showing him the text he was reading. "The Kage is the strongest ninja in the village. It says so in the book." "Oh, well, unfortunately no," Sasuke Naruto said, unable to avoid the sting of disappointment in his heart. He had heard recently that Sakura had finally become a Jonin, and even Konohamaru was already a Chunin. "God. I feel like I hit the bottom." Sasuke blinked, confused by the shadow of gloominess that hung over his father's head. "So what's your rank? Are you a Jonin?" the child insisted innocently, but Naruto shook his head, more and more depressed. No. "I know. You're an ANBU." "No," Naruto muttered. "I'm still a genin." Sasuke's eyes widened. "Huh! But that is the lowest rank," the boy cried, while Naruto looked down. "I know," the blonde replied with embarrassment. He finally got his son's respect and admiration, but after telling him this, Sasuke would think he was a big loser. "You have to pass the Chunin exam to become a Chunin and, well, I didn't get promoted." Sasuke stared at Naruto with his eyes full of disbelief. The boy's curiosity seemed to be endless. He wanted to know everything about the ninja world, and he also wanted to know how his dad had become one. The genin were almost always the ninjas who were weaker and carried the easiest missions. His father was a war hero and was renowned. How could he still be a genin? But why? Is the exam very difficult? Yes, it's hard. The truth is that I just did the test once, when I was about 13, Naruto admitted. Wow, that was a nightmare, especially the first part, with all those weird tests and questions. You can't take the exam again? Sasuke asked. I can, the exams are held twice a year, but I was busy after that, Naruto revealed. Busy? With what? Sasuke asked. Bringing you back to the village, the blonde though. Naruto knew he was dealing with sensitive information, so he was careful in choosing his words. My Shusho took me out of the village to train. I only returned to Konoha 2 years after. But even so, I was always busy with training and missions, and had no time to take the exam. With a dejected expression, Naruto lowered his head and whispered without thinking. Man. You were right. I really am a dead last. Sasuke opened his mouth, confused. Dead last? Naruto opened his eyes and looked up. Shit! He and his big mouth. Oh no, Sasuke, forget what I said. You're not a dead last. Sasuke cried. Huh? I don't think that you're a dead last, the boy continued with vehemence and fury. I'd never call you that. Naruto was surprised at the emotion in Sasuke's words. The Raven was genuinely angry that Naruto thought he had insulted him that way. You're right, Sasuke, you didn't call me that. I said it wrong. However, Sasuke would not quiet down. Someone called you dead last? The Raven asked. They called you names? Don't worry about it, son. It was many years ago. It doesn't matter. Of course it matters. The Raven cried, not only angry but put out. How dared someone call his dad dead last? Yes, Naruto could be silly at times, but he was one of the strongest ninja in the world and he wasn't stupid. All Sasuke's instincts told him to find that person and hit him. No one insulted his Tuchan. You should kick his ass. The surprise on Naruto's face was replaced with a huge smile, and the blonde had to struggle not to laugh. Thanks, Sasuke, Naruto said, stroking the boy's hair. Don't worry about me. I know to look after myself. Also, don't think that'll be a genin forever. I'll be the next Hokage. Hokage? Isn't that the Kage from the Land of Fire? Sasuke asked. Yup. Sasuke opened the first pages of the book and showed a map to Naruto. With his finger, he pointed to a country painted red. Is it here? Sasuke asked. Naruto nodded. Yes. Konoha is there, in the Land of Fire. Sasuke stared at the map for a few seconds, touching the page. But if you're not the Hokage, who is it? The boy asked. Is he strong? Oh. She is very strong. She? The Hokage is Tsunade Bachan. Sasuke's jaw literally dropped. No way! The raven cried, astonished. Tsunade Bachan is a doctor. She's the best medical ninja in the world, actually, Naruto said, smiling before the puzzled expression on Sasuke's face. It wasn't every day that you discovered that the doctor who had given you shots in the buttocks and healed your skin knees was the leader of a ninja village. Bachan has been the Hokage for almost 10 years. Time flies. But she's a lady. So what? Ladies can be very strong, Naruto said. Don't try to fight Tsunade Bachan. She can tear down a building with only one hand. Sasuke's eyes widened in amazement. Really? Is she that strong? You bet. Women can be very strong and frightening, said Naruto with a scared face, remembering all the times that Sakura had hit him. Hell, even his Kaachan could be scary. Sasuke looked down and remembered Akane. She always seemed so friendly and so cheerful. She was one of the few adults who Sasuke thought as cool and fun. But she had been pretending the whole time. All the time she had given them free candy and was nice to him and his classmates. She had been lying. Shinya liked her and she killed him, even though he didn't do anything wrong. He even wanted to give her flowers. But she said that she didn't care. She also had killed Kaido-san, who had gone through the village on fire because he was worried about her. But Akane killed him as if he were a bug. She had said that he was annoying and she didn't need him anymore. Waking up from his reverie, Naruto noticed that the boy seemed suddenly sad and thoughtful. What are you thinking, Sasuke? Huh? I was thinking about Akane, said the raven. Naruto sat up on the couch. And what are you thinking about her? Sasuke looked out the window in the living room and saw the charred houses in the village's center. He could still smell smoke even after 5 days. She killed Kaido-san, and Shinya, the raven said. She was going to kill me too, and you. She was always so nice, but it was all pretend. She was evil, like a monster. Naruto looked at Sasuke's neck. She was very angry and hurt, Naruto said softly. Her parents were killed by a man who no one wanted to punish. Sasuke stared at Naruto with an angry expression. But she didn't have to kill the other people, Sasuke said. Shinya and Kaido-san loved her, and she killed them and laughed. Why aren't you angry at her? I hate her. You're right, what she did was wrong and mean. But she was not the only one who did wrong. The elders should have done what was right if they knew who had killed her parents. You don't hate her? Sasuke asked, very surprised. She tried to kill you too. Why aren't you angry at her? Naruto looked Sasuke in his eyes. Because I understand how she felt, Naruto said softly, astonishing the child. When someone we love is killed, it's incredibly painful, like a hole in our heart. Then the anger and hatred come and fill that hole. Akane felt she needed to do something, because she couldn't stand idly while no one paid for taking her parents away from her. Her hatred grew and consumed everything else. That is revenge. Revenge? Revenge makes you obsessed until you can't think of anything else. You go mad, and become a different person. You only think about getting our revenge and nothing else matters. As long as you can have your revenge, you don't care who you have to step on, and you hurt people, not just those who have wronged you, but even your friends. Those who got hurt also want revenge later. It's a cycle of hatred and destruction that never stops. Sasuke remembered the dream he had with the boy inside the purple monster and felt cold. He knew that boy was the same monster that he saw when he was trapped inside a nightmare when he was little. Akane killed her boyfriend and his siblings because she thought she was going to feel better afterwards. But that didn't happen. She felt empty and needed to punish everyone else for her sorrow. That's what happens when hatred consumes you. It eats you alive until there is no room for other feelings. She would never have peace. Even she killed everyone in the village. That wouldn't bring her parents back, which was what she really wanted. Although he couldn't understand why, Sasuke wanted to cry. He felt as if his dad was talking about him, even if that didn't make any sense. Naruto was going to continue talking, but noticed that Sasuke was upset. His eyes were fixed on Naruto, big and frightened. His shoulders were shaking under the blanket. The blonde landed a warm hand on Sasuke's head and stroked his hair. The raven landed the book on the floor and leaned his face against Naruto's chest. He didn't understand how or why, but a single word formed on his lips, whispered in silence against his father's jersey. Sorry. A week later, Tsunade came to visit them and, at Naruto's request, she brought her Hokage hat so Sasuke could see it and touch it. Naruto felt a childish need to grab the hat, put it on the head and yell, "It's finally mine," but decided to listen to his wise side. Yeah, he had won. And heard Sasuke ask Tsunade how was it like to be the Hokage, take care of the village, and how Konoha was like. After an hour of conversation, Sasuke decided that he didn't want to be Hokage. Going on secret missions, strong, silent and swift as a shadow, was an idea that sounded a lot more appealing. Tsunade laughed with the raven's statements, and said he would make a good ANBU, unlike his boisterous father. Naruto fought back strongly, and only hushed when Tsunade said that Naruto's own clothes made him a living target. The blonde refused to stop wearing orange. "You look like a walking pumpkin. You're going to live up to your epithet," said Tsunade. "Konoha's orange Hokage. God help me. The legendary sucker is a lot worse," Bachan Naruto said, getting a slap in the head as punishment. Before falling asleep, Sasuke found out that Naruto had other epithets far more glorious. The child of prophecy and savior of this world, because his father had saved Konoha from an enemy that no one, not even the Hokage, was able to stop, and also because it was thanks to him that they had won the war. Naruto could be just a genin, but Sasuke knew that didn't mean he was weak. Sasuke would never think of his father as weak again. The raven had always loved him deeply, but only now he realized just how amazing his dad was. A true hero, a lot better than in the stories. Driven by these thoughts, Sasuke fell asleep still sitting at the kitchen table. Before Tsunade left, she gave Naruto a scroll with information on the next village where they would be staying and where they were expected. An ancient clan, ally of Konoha, was waiting for them. It would be the ideal place to begin Sasuke's ninja training, without fear of being discovered. Naruto took the scroll and took leave of the Hokage. Father and son had emptied the rented house and were ready to leave Maruki, carrying only a small backpack. Sasuke had been amazed when Naruto summoned several frogs to take all their other stuff to Mount Maiboku. The villagers came to see them off, thanking Naruto in tears and cheers. Sasuke took leave of his friends and promised that they would see each other again one day. Chie cried so much that Sasuke had no choice but to let her give him a hug, but stopped her when she wanted to give him a goodbye kiss. Junko also hugged Sasuke and he asked her to lay flowers for him at Shinya's grave. With a sad smile, Junko accepted. The new mayor came up to Naruto and told him that would reveal the whole truth to the villagers. The blonde nodded solemnly, feeling glad that Mizora and her parents would be given some justice after all. "Tuchan," Sasuke said, getting closer to Naruto. "Are we going?" "Yes," the blonde replied. "It's time." "So this is your boy?" "I haven't met him yet," the new mayor said, looking at Sasuke from up to bottom. "Yes. This is Sasuke," Naruto said, placing a hand on his son's shoulders. The mayor knelt down and looked at Sasuke in the eye. The raven had received that look many times. It was the look of someone who didn't believe that Sasuke was Naruto's son. However, instead of being surprised, the mayor smiled and nodded. Yes. I see. You two have the same gaze, filled with life, the man said, turning to Sasuke. I heard that you went through the village in flames and faced Akane. I expected nothing less from Naruto-sama's son. You have inherited his spirit. I can see it just by looking at your eyes. Sasuke felt his cheeks blush, while Naruto smiled proudly. Of course. He's my son after all, the blonde said. As they walked away from the village, Sasuke smiled with joy. It was the first time, that was the first time someone said that he looked like his daddy. Someone saw that they were family. Why are you laughing, Sasuke? Naruto asked. Nothing, the boy replied. But after a few seconds, Sasuke grabbed Naruto's hand and squeezed it hard, just happy to be his father's son. That's it for part 16. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.